lot yesterday. We did some as far as putting in the Vanderbilt game plan, reviewing some things offensively, but on a short week like this, especially when Vanderbilt's had an extra day, we got to make sure our rest is right. So we'll practice today, head up to Vanderbilt, and dive in. This is a team the players don't know a lot about, so it'll be a lot of film study as well. The things I see with them, they're playing incredibly hard. Incredibly hard. I mean, the game goes another 30 seconds. They might have very well beat Tennessee the other night at Tennessee. And their game with LSU was no fluke. I mean, they shoot the ball extremely well. Almost half their shots are threes. They're putting a lot of spacing on the floor. Saban Lee provides a ton of speed on the floor. They play a lot of 5 out, where you have to guard all 5 people past the three-point line, especially number 1 to Sue, with the range that he has. So Jerry Stackhouse is doing a great job. I mean, they're a very, very difficult challenge because of how much movement they have. They run a ton of different actions, and there's no way we're going to get ready for every bit of that. We got to get ready for the concepts. We got to make sure we understand what they're trying to get. And again, Saban Lee is in that Kyra Lewis class of speed when it comes to being able to get downhill and get to the rim and do those type of things. So it's going to be a heck of a challenge, and we've got a lot to learn in a very short period of time. But we're coming off an outstanding victory, and that certainly helps. It helps everybody. It helps everybody's frame of mind. And now we just have to make sure that everything we're doing is to build on that and lock into this game.
I was going to ask you how much more pep was in everybody's step in practice.
Well, yesterday was a little bit, we didn't really push it hard yesterday. I mean, again, our defense was basically walk through, talk through, right? Mm-hmm. I like to I say, live talk, live hands, but we're not like live the way we're guarding it. So it should be better today, but the bottom line is we got to keep making sure we have a pulse on the team every day with where they're at energy-wise and with as many young guys as we have. But, I think they were happy. There's no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. And the head coach was happy, and I think everybody else around was happy. So it was the way that we won. It was not only a great victory against an outstanding team, but it was the way that we won, and we were able to grow up inside of the game and find a way to win it. And that was huge. And not just hold on, but continue to play well, and that make free throws, not turn it over. Those are the kind of things that you've got to be able to do to grow up. And now the key is to be able to sustain it and get better, and that's where the maturity part of it comes in.
I was going to ask you next, how can a win like that help, change the mindset, I guess, the way the expectation, the way of the players, knowing when they do play, they can
I think so. It's now a been there, done that, and it's the most recent thing. So that's good. So they don't have that self-doubt that creeps back into their head. With some of the other tough games that we had, this is the most fresh thing. And I thought Severe did a really good job the other night of leadership. Really everybody. In the end of the fourth, Jordan Harris had an outstanding defensive game. And if you look at the stat sheet, you wouldn't see him having a great game. He made a huge 3 late in the game. But 11 deflections, the way that he guarded, and then make a huge 3, that's what it's all about. Tamati Kamara had a fantastic defensive game. And all of a sudden he's 10 to 12 from the free throw line because of it. Anthony Edwards did an outstanding job defensively at the end of that game. Did a good job defensively during the game, but at the end of the game, just absolutely locked down on McCormick. And that's what he's capable of. And to me, that's what you have to do. You have to put maturity is impacting what you can control, right? And not getting down and disappointed or discouraged when things aren't going well offensively. And that's the maturity that you have to have at home. It's definitely the maturity you have to have on the road. And that's what we have to continue to try to develop right now.
You guys have had a lot of turnovers lately and all year, but it seems that they've gone up a little bit with Edwards lately. What's the issue there? Is it a ball handling issue?
A little bit, yeah. He's got to be stronger with it. When it comes to Anthony, he's got to be stronger with the ball, right? He's just got to be absolutely strong with the ball because people are attacking it. As I tell these guys all the time right now, we're on film giving the ball up. We're on film not being strong with the ball. And it doesn't matter if it's Anthony, it doesn't matter if it's Rayshawn Hammonds, it doesn't matter who it is. We've got to be stronger with the ball. And that's one of the first things we'll do in there again today when we go to the rim is have the GAs and the managers swiping at the ball and on the perimeter and at the rim, so we just keep getting it in our head how strong you have to be with the basketball. But that's really what it is. It's some technique, but it's more mindset. You got to pound the ball. You can't bounce it. You can't dribble it. You got to drive it and pound it. And that's where some of that is coming from. And then some of our passes that we've had where we've turned it over, we're seeing things that aren't there rather than just making the simple pass. Like I say, probably 90% of the time that I come in here with you guys. We have to we have to make simple plays. And the better that we do that, the better that we'll be.
You mentioned Harris and Kamara, and I know after the game you mentioned maybe having a shorter bench. Do you prefer to stick with your starters for?
Not necessarily. It's just the way the game worked out the other night, and you all know that. I mean, we have not been that consistent. So it's real easy to say, okay, we've got this group or that group when you're really consistent with that group, but that hasn't been the way that it's been. So when you have that situation, you've got to be able to play to win the game, and you've got to try different things. I don't want a short bench. I don't like it. But at the end of the day, we've got to win the game. And so whatever the game is calling for inside of that game and our guys are playing. And what happens is there were guys we couldn't take off the floor the other day. And the pace of the game allowed us to do that as well. And so that becomes a part of the decision-making inside of the game. But it's a game-by-game thing.
You mentioned calling more offense in the second half with the lead. Is that something you're going to continue to keep doing in second half?
We've got to make good decisions, right? It all comes down to that. We've got to make good decisions. And we can't play, even there were times we took a couple of quick threes. And trust is earned, and you learn trust too. It's not just, you have to learn it. You have to learn time and score situations of, okay, we've got to get this right now. We've got to get that right now. We've got to take this time. And we've just got to continue to help them through that, and I don't want to overcall the offense, but at the end of the day, we got to make sure we're getting the right look, getting the ball in the right people's hands, and not being in a rush, and understanding what the momentum and the flow of the game is.
To you, what does that balance look like?
I don't know.
Overcalling the offense?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a game-by-game thing. I mean, a lot of it comes down to the flow of the game, what the decision-making is like, time and score situations. And we have not been great when we've gotten up. And when we've gotten up, there's been times that we try to play too quick, or somebody tries to make a play that's not there and it hasn't been reversed. That's what we have to work through. You get an older team, you get an experienced team, you get a team that's been through the rigors and the wars, and all of a sudden they're not playing like that as much. Now they understand better, but we're not there, and that's what we've got to continue. We're trying to help them get through that, but at the end of the day, we've got to help them even more so on the court.
With the pulse of this team, what's the key to putting back-to-back strong performances together?
Consistent defense, and there's no doubt about it. I mean, defending the way we did the other night and being able to have that travel and be strong defensively and be in the rebounding game, without a doubt. And we've got to shoot the ball, right? But we didn't shoot the ball great the other night, but we defended well. And the bottom line is on the other side of it is, like we're talking about here with the decision making, we can't have turnovers. We can't have live ball turnovers that are enormous. So the defensive ability to get stops, obviously turn them into defensive rebounds, and then our ability to take care of the ball. And at the same time, we want to run. So that's where it becomes a real, I don't want to call it a balancing act, but you just got to watch the flow of the game, and you want to let guys make plays, and you don't want to put handcuffs on guys, but at the same time, we got to understand time and score situations.
Christian.
Well, your record is what it is. Do you spend any ounce of energy at looking at how different the season could have been? I mean, there's been some really close games and obviously some big leads that you
Sure.
did build
Absolutely.
legitimately.
Yeah, one of the coaches did that the other day. One of the coaches, they had a couple possession different thing, and you can't, right? I mean, I listen, right? I listen. It's woulda, coulda, shoulda, but you just have to try to figure out how you're going to be better the next time with it. And the last thing you want to do is put doubt in the players' minds. You want to put confidence in, but you want it to be, this is how we get confidence. Not kumbaya, let's all clap around confidence, but like, this is how you get it. And so that's what we want to work on. But no, there's no question. It was the same thing last year. We had 4 straight games this time of year that were 1-possession games. And those things, they bother you in real time, but they stick with you after, right? They stick with you in the off season. And there's no doubt about that. But right now we're in real time, so there's not a lot of time to be able to worry about that. There's got to be more. We've just got to keep getting better, and then you just try to apply what you've learned to the practices.
Just want to ask real quick. Christian didn't get in the game the other day. Still under the
That
weather.
wasn't his fault. He's been sick. Mm-hmm. He had a tragedy in his family, so he missed a little bit of time for that, and he's been sick. Mm-hmm. And so, but the other day that wasn't him. That was more the way Ray Sean Tumanian and Mike Peake's physicality. It was more that than it was anything else. It wasn't anything that he wasn't doing.
Okay, cool.